What if a house doesn't just remember death, it rehearses it? In St. Louis, a red brick mansion watched for members of the same brewing dynasty die by gunshot. The street outside is quiet, the sound of distant traffic muted by the heavy summer air. The moment you step onto the cracked stone pathway, the temperature dips, as though the house exhales a cold breath meant just for you. The iron gate screeches open, and the smell of damp wood and rust mingles with a faint metallic tang, as if old bloodstains have never quite faded from the walls. Tonight, for scary dreams, we walk its halls. The brewing company faltered, the family wealth drained, and scandal plagued every corner of their name. Her marriage was a storm of betrayal and anger, and one cold morning, she was found dead, another gunshot, another broken soul. He lived alone in the mansion for years, consumed by paranoia, shadows moving in corners only he could see. When his beloved dog died, Charles followed, ending his life with the same grim ritual. Neighbors say they can still hear the dog scratching at the back door when the night is quiet, its loyalty tethered to the man who could never find peace. Some say her spirit returned to the mansion where it all began, wandering the second-floor hallway, her footsteps echoing through the night. When you look into it, you almost expect to see someone standing behind you. I stare too long. For a split second, I swear I see a man, a shadowed figure, head bowed, a revolver glinting in the dim light. But when I blink, he's gone. The air tastes stale, thick with the scent of dust and decay. We shine the flashlight, but the beam only cuts through a wall of darkness. The guide insists no one is down here, but I can feel it, something is close, watching from the shadows. Some say they smell gunpowder, sudden and sharp, as if a shot has just been fired. The guide says nothing, but her eyes dart around the room as if she, too, feels it. Others claim to wake to the sight of a figure standing at the foot of their bed, silent, watching. In the dining room, an antique table sits perfectly set, as if awaiting guests who will never come. The chairs creak softly as if someone just shifted their weight. The walls sweat moisture, and the ground is sticky, as if it's soaked in something thicker than water. Down here, the silence is broken only by the slow dripping of water from somewhere unseen. This house has soaked up every scream, every shot, every tear, and now it repeats them for anyone who dares to listen. It sounds like a clock ticking, counting down to something we can't name. Years later, in the same house, William Jr. walked into the very room where his father had died, raised a revolver, and followed his father's final path. If you spend a night here, ask yourself, when the footsteps come closer and the door creaks open by itself, will you still believe it's just the house settling? Or will you know that the Lemp family curse is reaching for you next? It's late, after hours, when the paying visitors have gone. We are alone now, or so it seems. But then comes the sound, a faint tapping from the hallway above. The house looms under the moonlight, silent and patient, as though it's waiting for its next chapter to begin. Slow, deliberate, like footsteps in a room no one occupies. Lights low, recorders running. Let's see whether the Lemp family is finished dying, or still practicing on whoever dares to stay. The Lemp Mansion stands like a forgotten stage, its windows dark and hollow, its facade bearing the weight of a century's worth of whispers. Inside, the silence is not complete, it's layered with creaks and sighs, as if a house is shifting in its sleep. The staircase moans under our weight, each step sounding like a warning. Upstairs, the air is colder, the scent of burnt wood faint and lingering, as if the house remembers fire that never happened. And then a door slams down the hall. We rush forward, but every door is still, every room empty. The wallpaper is faded, peeling at the edges, revealing older, darker layers beneath. It is cursed, and its curse began with wealth. The chandelier above is missing half its crystals, and the rest dangle like teeth, catching the dim glow from a single flickering bulb. Every step on the warped floorboards feels too loud, too intrusive, as though unseen eyes are watching. But this house is not just old. The Lemps were a brewing dynasty, rich, powerful, envied. Their beer empire defined St. Louis at the turn of the 20th century. But what people didn't see behind the grand parties and fortune was the rot of misfortune spreading quietly through the family's bloodline. William Lemp, the patriarch, watched his empire crumble under the rise of new competition and the shadow of prohibition. When his favorite son, Frederick, died young, something inside William snapped. He walked into this mansion, entered his office, and put a bullet through his head. The sound of that single shot is said to echo still, late at night, in the empty hallways. His son, William Jr., inherited both the business and the despair. But the mansion wasn't done collecting lives. Elsa Lemp, the only daughter, married young into another wealthy family. And then there was Charles, the most reclusive of them all. Tonight, this house is a museum of sorrow, and when you stand in its halls, you can feel it's something oppressive, like an invisible weight pressing against your chest. "Do you hear that?" whispers the guide, her voice trembling. The guide hesitates before leading us upstairs. In William Sr.'s office, the mirror on the wall is cloudy, the silver backing tarnished. People who stay here overnight often speak of whispers, soft voices murmuring at the edges of hearing. As we walk through the hallway, I feel the faint brush of something cold against my arm, like the touch of fingers that aren't there. In the basement, where the beer tunnels once ran beneath the city, the darkness feels alive. And then, a whisper. I freeze. It's low, hoarse, like someone exhaling a word they can't quite form. Some say the Lemp curse is not just tied to blood, but to place. We leave the mansion long after midnight, but the feeling doesn't leave with us. Even outside, the windows seem to watch. Maybe the Lemps aren't finished with this world. Maybe they're still here, rehearsing their tragedies on anyone who walks through that front door.